The latest chapter in the fight between Hewlett-Packard and UK software company Autonomy has just been opened, with Autonomy's founder Mike Lynch telling the Financial Times he's planning to report HP to the SEC for, quote, false representations to the market, unquote. Murad Ahmed, European technology correspondent, joins me now. Murad, what's going on here?
So we've seen this internal document which sheds new light into how HP came to its write-down. We understand that this document was relied on, at least in part, to come to its decision to write down the company by more than 8 billion, more than 5 billion worth of which was to do with alleged accounting improprieties at the company. Mr. Lynch believes that this shows a number of different things that help his cause. Among them is the labelling inside the document, which shows how HP came to decide whether or not certain transactions met UK accounting standards or US accounting standards going forward.
This is an extraordinary intervention by Mr. Lynch, but it's the latest in a series of very tough rhetorical to's and fro's between HP management and him. Give us a sense of where this sits and a little bit of background, because this has been an ongoing dispute for about 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's go back to the beginning. HP buying Autonomy. This is August 2011. It offers an extraordinary sum, 11.1 billion. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, British technology company that's been bought by, one of Silicon Valley's big brands. This was a purchase made by the former chief executive, Leo Apotheker. He wanted to move into high-margin software and get away from the low-margin hardware that HP is well known for. The market reaction to this and to not only this acquisition, but also this kind of shift in strategy leads HP's board to fire Mr. Apotheker, and they appoint one of the board members, Meg Whitman, the former chief executive of eBay, to run the company. That's September 2011. A few months later, Ms. Whitman makes these extraordinary allegations about accounting improprieties at Autonomy. This is November 2012, and writes down the acquisition by 8.8 billion, more than 5 billion of this is down to accounting improprieties. Very shortly afterwards, the inevitable lawsuits start to fly. HP's sued by its shareholders, and there's still ongoing a settlement between the shareholders and HP. HP say that have suggested that once this shareholder settlement is done, that they can then train their fire at Autonomy's former management, which is Mike Lynch and its Chief Financial Officer, Sushavan Hussain. In August of 2014, this year, HP went even further than it had previously gone before in legal filings, accusing both Mr. Lynch and Mr. Hussain of fraud. And now we've got this scenario where Mr. Lynch himself is going to report HP to the SEC over over the findings in this rebasing document.
Going forward, looking ahead, where does this ultimately lead, do we think? Is there a resolution there? There's a court case coming up, I believe, which might resolve some of these issues. Where are we heading?
Well, it's hard to say what the SEC are going to say in response to this. Do they open some sort of investigation? It's unlikely that they're ever going to say anything publicly until they want to bring charges or bring some sort of formal probe into the matter. The key point will be what happens after this shareholder settlement either goes through, or if the judge lets that go through. Do we find that HP and Mr. Lynch and Mr. Hussain have their day in court when they can argue this point? Do they settle? Mr. Lynch has made it clear that he doesn't see any reason why they need to settle this court. He says he's completely innocent of these and wants the chance to be able to prove that's the case.
Murad, thanks very much.